I just recently learned what the word YIF means. I really wish I didn't. Anyways, today's story time is about how in my high school there's a pro gun versus gun safety or anti gun, whatever you want to call it, uh, argument in my school that led into a fight. Um, Now, I know that sounds absurd. Luckily for me, I have footage to prove that something like this did in fact happen in my high school. And honestly, if this happened in 2023, you'd see like Fox News covering it, you'd see CNN covering it. I guarantee you there'd be more coverage, especially because nowadays we live in a far more politicized time, you know. But this story is pretty interesting. It was this rally, and some pro gun people or anti gun people really got into it. Now, my first storytime video, I believe I've had two or just one, I think. They are now in a playlist that will now be on this main channel. I know my first storytime was on the second channel, Dundo Vlogs, but I'm now going to put that here in the main channel. So go subscribe to my second channel for vlogs, but subscribe here if you want more story times. And let me know in the comments what you think. So anyways, there was an anti-gun rally. This happened in April of 2018. This is what I looked like at the time. We are going to talk about gun stuff, but I'm not going to put my perspective really out there because really that's not what this video is about. So for all the people who are waiting to hear me say my thoughts on guns and all that, that won't be for now. It's just going to be a story time right now. So just keep that in mind. Make sure to get your big boy pants because I know people cry when you bring up something political. Whether you're a conservative that's like a Tucker Carlson fan or a liberal who loves Xander Hall, like no matter where, you both of them just cry about everything. But this story happened in April 2018, and the reason why that date is so important, and I was like 16 years old at the time, but that date is so important because this was around the time school shootings were happening kind of frequently. The Nicholas Cruz stuff in Florida had just happened like a month or so ago. And so there's a lot of conversations about guns at the time. Even so much to where in my English class, which was my first period, there's like we have like this big discussion about guns and all that. I remember when the Nicholas Cruz stuff really impacted high schools. Like it was literally like one of the most talked about things. And it got so bad to one point where people in our school were expecting a school shooting anytime soon. Because I went to a pretty diverse yet pretty big high school. Like it was a public school. It was a pretty big school, but it's very diverse. There was a lot of white people there. There was a lot of black people there. There was a lot of Hispanic people there. Maybe not a lot of Asians, but there was a couple of Asians in there. There was gay kids there. There were straight kids. Never met a trans kid. I would assume. I don't know. It's not like I ever went around asking if someone was trans, but pretty diverse. But it was also in a very conservative area. So conservative to the point where over here where I live, it's pretty normal to see like a truck that has like a giant Trump flag. Like that's pretty normal. Like doing that over here, you really don't run that much of a risk of having a Trump flag. Well, if you do that like in LA, you probably would get in trouble. So I live in a very conservative area. Oh, and there was also a Trump rally here literally last year. So just to give you that. So there was this rally that was going to be about gun safety. And it was going to take place between third and fourth period, but it was going to take up most of fourth period. Now, I believe the reason why they couldn't, because usually when we had rallies or assemblies, usually it would be like seventh period, there would be like some type of thing. Like if it was a major thing, it would be that. But because this one came out of nowhere, and I guess because this one was more political, I guess they had to make it to fourth period, and you can go for free. Now, they announced this during the week. And I didn't really think much about it. And it happened on a Friday. Now, in the school I went to, it was like the football stadium was over there. It was like this very weird layout. I wish I could show it to y'all, but it's a very weird layout. There's a main campus that had all the classes there, the front office, everything, yada, yada, yada. But it was also separate to where you had to go outside. Like there was an annex where the history classes were, the Spanish classes were in this specific room. Next to it, there was a rotunda where the kids with autism would go, the JROTC and cosmetology, basically a lot of things that required trade school. And then there's the band room. It was literally like separate buildings together. So much so to where my entire time going to high school, there was always construction, because right now they're trying to build the high school to be all combined, because that's been an issue, and it kind of feels like they're their own buildings. It's so funny, but we had the stadium over there, and then we had like 2 practice fields. I'm gonna call them practice fields. That's where I would play soccer sometimes. That's where they had football and all that, yada yada yada. But they had this one stand, just one stand similar to the football one. The football one was all around, but the practice one just had one stand. And so, third period was my history class. Fourth period was my math class. Now, I didn't plan on going to this rally, but when I got out of third period, I love history, by the way. Just going to say that. History was always the easiest subject for me. Maybe because I love learning about Hitler. I'm just kidding, by the way. But I hate math. I can't stand math. I suck at geometry, suck at algebra. Although geometry was probably the easiest math. But I suck at algebra. I suck at all kinds of math. If you guys know my personal story, I've always struggled with paying attention. I was always very energetic. And math required the most focused. I can't stand math. I was always so bad at math that there was times where I genuinely hated myself just anytime I was in math class, because I was always like the dumbest kid when it came to math. Like, I was a smart kid when it came to English, history, and science. I was kind of middle of the pack, but math I fucking hated math. Like, honestly, I really can't stand math. Being honest, a lot of it just seems so unnecessary. Not only that, but schools make you do it in a specific way, and if you go out of that range, they get mad at you. Although I think, looking back at it now, that's very controlling and not very good to teach to the youth. But anyway, so it was we were leaving the annex, and me and my friend, we usually just walk, and you'll see a little bit of him in the video, which I'll show later on. But we were getting out, and we looked to our left where the fields were, and we saw lots of kids just walking there. And I asked them, wait, what's going on? And they said, oh, that's the gun safety rally. And I was like, oh, shit, should we just go just to skip class? Because you had a free pass. That was the thing. Like, you could go there, and the teachers wouldn't get mad at you. The stands were pretty packed, so we got kind of like a corner seat. And we just sat down, and there's like a lot of people there. Some people genuinely did care about gun safety. Other people, I think, were just doing it to skip class. But there's this, I think she was like a teacher or something like that. So it starts off with being like, hey guys, thank you guys for being here for the gun safety rally. We know that recently there's been a lot of bad stuff going around in high schools in America. And then she says, can we have a moment of silence for the people? And I think it was going to be like an 8-minute moment of silence, something like that. But then this happens. Now, because they were at the very end of the field, you could see these redneck guys just walking. And it was a little weird, but or at least I myself didn't think much about it. I thought they were just going there to sit down. Not only that, but at the time I wasn't a political person, so I didn't really know what beliefs you needed to have in order to be on one side or the other side. I think at most all I knew was Democrats and Republicans, and all I knew is that Trump was a Republican and Obama was a Democrat. I think that's all I knew at the time. Never really cared about politics. That's actually one thing that I feel like is unfortunate about a lot of the youth right now, is that they're almost being forced into politics nowadays because everything has to be politicized. I mean, you can't even watch a Pixar movie without going on YouTube and seeing people ranting about how the woke mob is trying to turn our kids gay. Like, it's just, yeah, I don't know. But so they were just walking, and I didn't think much about it. And then once they got close to the stands, they pulled out the "Don't Threat on Me" flag. I put it on here on the screen, the yellow flag. And immediately there's like a lot of boos or like whatever. And there's this and they were just kind of just waving the flag out. But what's funny is that in my mind I didn't think so much about it. I was just kind of like, the hell's going on? Like, is this part of it? Like, are they trying to make arguments for both sides? Like, I was so confused because I didn't expect something like this to happen. And then I think one black kid jumped out of the stand and started like trying to pull like the flag away from them. I don't know if it's in the video because I haven't seen the video in a while. I was actually literally just scrolling through my nostalgic Snapchat post from high school, and I just saw it was just there, and I was like, oh shit, this could be a good video to talk about. And they didn't really get into a fight, but it just seemed like the guy pulled the flag. They got into a little bit of an argument. Then after that, they told us to just leave. And what's funny is me and my friend, we were just laughing. We were kind of like, the hell was all that, you know? And I do wonder what the rally really would have been about. Like, would they have just talked about how we need to bring gun safety or whatever, you know? And then it's funny because I think I ended up missing 20 minutes of my fourth period math, and the teacher saw me and this other guy. We were just walking in, and she sounded a little bit upset. Like we would go there, but at the same time, I got free will, in this case. So yeah, just shut up. But I feel like some high school teachers took their jobs too seriously. Like, you're not getting paid enough for you to care if I'm in that class or not. Although stay in school, kid. Sorry, I'm a little sick, but stay in school, kids. School is good, all right. So, but yeah, some teachers do take their jobs too seriously. But we just sat in our seats, and we had missed 20 minutes of it. I believe the average class was, I think, 60 minutes. I think, yeah, it was 60 minutes. Sorry, an hour, really. Why am I saying 60 minutes? Or I think it was a little less. And so, yeah, I mean, that was it. I saw a lot of Snapchat posts that day because the school was almost kind of connected with Snapchat. Everyone had Snapchat, so you would see what was happening around the school through Snapchat. A lot of people were talking about it on there. About a lot of it seemed to be hated towards the redneck kids, which I don't know any of them personally. I also don't know the black kid personally, so I don't know their names or nothing. And they were talking about how, like, they disrupted this gun safety thing. It became like this small big thing that happened in the rally. I remember later in my, I think, sixth period, some kid, I was asking, like, if anyone went and what happened, and I got to tell him the story. But yeah, I mean, honestly, if this happened now, I feel like it would have been on news sites. YouTubers would be talking about. You'd have like Sam Cedar, or who's the beard guy, the one who's in trouble right now. He had like this one show. What crap? I can't remember his name. But you'd have, like, I guarantee you there'd be bigger conversations, especially because there's a lot of footage of that. I just think that at the time, not everything was so politicized to that point, although gun safety was a big topic. I do wonder if it went on my local news, because I never really ever watched the local news. Like, at most, the only time I remember anything from my high school happening was when COVID happened. They were using the parking lot of my high school. They were using that to give people, like, resources for the pandemic. And that was like very early on in the pandemic. I actually graduated in 2020, so yeah, I basically got to miss out the last basically 4 months of my high school. The last 4 months, and I got to graduate with half of my class, which I'm actually fine with because it went by quicker. And it was also on a stadium instead of like this weird pavilion that usually everyone graduates at. Not only that, but it feels more unique than the other students that had to graduate in a different way. But yeah, I mean, that's the story that I had. Not really anything too big, but anyways, if you like more of these story times, y'all let me know in the comments. And yeah, sorry if I sounded a little sick. I'm right now recovering. 2 days ago, I was really sick. You can tell my EDP video that I had before this video. And then I was really sick yesterday. Like, yesterday was the worst. It was so bad that I couldn't even make videos. Like, even sitting down on this dang little chair. Sorry for my shorts, but on this dang chair, I was just so exhausted that I couldn't get up. I hate being sick, by the way. Can I just say that? I don't know why some people genuinely like being sick. I don't. Because I'm just in my bed, and then I feel bad when I'm in bed, but I feel even worse when I'm not in bed. And it sucks ass. And the headaches and the sore throat right now. The fact that I'm even making a video right now is crazy. Look, I'm very energetic. I like to be productive. That's why I always hate when I talk to people about how I do YouTube. I always hate when they're like, how do you make enough time? And it's like, you just got to make the time. I just do it after work. When I come home from work or when I'm not working, I just make videos. But I also think it's a little weird because I've always dreamt about doing YouTube. Like, honestly, and now I'm getting all rambly on. If you only came for the story, you can leave now. But I've always dreamt about making videos since 2013. You know, when I was watching Smosh back in the day, I want to do skits. I like doing the fan films. I've had so many YouTube channels in the past. Some that I have some videos that I literally post someday. Maybe when I reach 10K subscribers. Just saying, when I reach 10K subscribers, I'm close to 2K. But when I reach 10K subscribers, I might release some old footage of me doing a Roblox video from when I was 11 years old, or Minecraft that I had. I even had some like stuff that I did outside. Like I had a video where I recorded myself playing like with this little blue monkey plush that I actually still have. I just don't know where I have it. But I've always loved doing YouTube, and I feel like I have so much drive to do it, and I think that's why I've been able to upload consistently for about 3 years at this point, because I started this channel during the midst of the pandemic in March of 2020, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, it's been over 3 years now. That's crazy. So much time has passed by. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. You want more story times? I got a lot of stories to tell. Luckily for this one, I had footage of it, so no one can be like, oh, you're lying. I feel like this kind of story is also a little more absurd too. Although maybe not that absurd, because it was 2018. You know, that's when the gun conversation really went full throttle. But I will say I do miss the times where not everything was politicized. Like, I feel like everything changed in 2016. You know, when you had like Gamergate and shit like that become like this big thing. You know, people are talking about Star Wars being woke. You know, or people, you know, all of a sudden calling everyone racist. Like, honestly, man, maybe it's because I was also younger before 2016. You know, like, maybe I'm just being biased. Maybe it was always politicized. But I remember when I was in elementary, we were taught about Republicans and Democrats, and we were taught that we all have the free will to vote for whoever we want, and that no one else should be able to change our minds, and they didn't even tell us what Republicans or Democrats believe. They were just like, Republicans are the elephant and donkey. I don't remember which is which, but there's an elephant, donkey. Obama is Democrat, and then they said, not Mitt Romney, but the guy before. I don't remember who Obama went versus in his first term election like thing, but I remember we were always taught just to respect one another. And when it comes to this conversation, to me, I believe everyone has free will. You promote whatever you want to promote. Do I think the guys were in the wrong? I don't think anyone was in the wrong. You all have free will. Although I think it's a little inappropriate to go to this like gun safety thing and just wave the flag. But at the same time, you know, it's America. You know, that's the beautiful thing about America that I'm always going to talk about. We have that First Amendment right. You don't have that everywhere. I know there's a bunch of like liberal cucks who like go on TikTok saying America is the worst country ever. Look, I'm going to be honest. If you say America is the worst country in the world, then you need to shut the fuck up, and I probably don't want to talk to you, because have you tried going to North Korea? Have you tried going to Central America? Have you tried going to South America? Like, guarantee you there's significantly far more countries worse off than America. And look, some people are going to go ahead and say that I'm being a American cuck, that that I just suck up to America. And look, there's issues in America. I'm never going to deny that, but I feel like I have this perspective because I'm the son of two immigrants, two wonderful immigrants, one from El Salvador and one from Mexico, and you know, even so much so to where my main language up until I was like 6 was Spanish. You know, there's a time where I knew more Spanish than English, funny enough. You know, that's absurd for me to think now. I mean, I know a lot of Spanish, obviously, but it's just like I prefer to speak English all the time. But hey, look, I love this country. There's far more opportunities here. There's so much more safety. Maybe it's not the best country in the world, but I'm still damn proud to live here, you know. Because again, it's the land of the free. You know, I think everyone can make a living here as long as you play your cards right. You know, but I feel like a lot of like teenage white girls want to tell you otherwise, you know. And that's just always going to be me. I'm sorry if I'm getting into a little preachy, but it's honestly the truth. You know, America is so wonderful, and while it has its problems, it's just so much better. You know, every time I've gone to Mexico or whatever, it's significantly better. Like, I guarantee you right now, none of you guys that hate America, I guarantee you none of you guys could last a day in Mexico. I guarantee you the minute you'd want to leave is when you have to find out that you have to shower through a bucket. I'm not even joking. In Mexico, you got to shower through a bucket. You have to basically fill up a little bit of water, get a bucket, and then just like start pouring it on yourself. And you only have a limited amount of water to pour yourself. Like, you motherfuckers that be showering for 40 minutes or an hour, you motherfuckers wouldn't last a day in Mexico, because I guarantee you that shit you would hate. You know, not only that, but if you get robbed in Mexico, the cops aren't going to care. You know, at least over here, the cops don't care enough. You know, they might be shitty cops, but they're going to care enough to at least try to find him. Over in Mexico, unless the guy's in the cartel, they're not going to care. Like, yeah, I'm just keeping it a buck with you guys. Sorry if I'm getting preachy. That could be another video, but thank you guys for watching. Hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Ciao.
Trapping out like a trapper. I do this shit for my mama. You believe in me? Do you even see where I'm trying to go? I can't go back home, nah. I've been left alone for so many times. Grabbed on a microphone, now I'm on my grind. So my life as a puzzle, I got a mastermind. But it wasn't easy, but the fact I nearly lost my life. They ain't have faith, so I didn't know belief. I was scared to see, I fell asleep. But now I woke trying to get the map complete. My life's like a game.